I'm just saying personally that this is a great place because I came here one day, for the heck of it. I mean, I don't know if I was there that day, but I mean, I was just saying to myself, this is fantastic. I just went right, I came here to the lobby and everything, and I thought, well, this could be my this could be where I could live. Now, I haven't thought about that part yet, but I'm going to try to be part of some stuff here because this is just tremendous.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, we love having you. Thank you for that. We're so glad you're there. How about some people on Zoom? I see you guys. My Aunt Carol's there. She's smiling. I can see her. Hi, Aunt Carol. So glad you're here.
Oh, and Frederic, my daughter just logged on. Bella, please put your
Oh, Bella Sicci, and Elena and Allison, if you guys want to share your experience with Frederic, please do before we start in the next minute. Hi, cute Bella. Bella's here.
Frederic, what about your son at UVM? Frederic?
Yes?
Didn't you say your son applied to UVM?
Yeah, he did. And he'll be going there for environmental sciences.
Yeah.
All right.
She's wildlife and fisheries biology, so close enough.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. He's in Europe right now. He's in France working on a farm in a village, and in a very old village in France. And he recently went to the highest elevation, oldest village in Europe, where some of these buildings and structures have been around for longer than our country's been around.
Wow. That's amazing.
Made of stones that are so thick. It's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
We are filling up over here. I'm like letting people in person after person. Hi, Brendan.
Hi, everybody.
Here now, and Ben is here, and Marty's here, and my goodness, Joanna's coming in.
Oh my gosh, no.
You are, Frederic, you are bringing down the house, man. There's Carrie.
How much are you paying all these people?
I know, right? See, this is how great you are. We all want to share in your gratitude.
Your check's in the mail, everyone.
Exactly.
Some of you will be getting cash.
They all got a Pockitude for coming to this.
Yay! I've got one too.
Right. That's great. Maybe we'll wait. Hi, Rob Grenadier, one of our board members is here. We can't see him, but he's here. Thank you, Rob, for joining us.
Can't see
And
you.
so lots of people here tonight. Isn't this awesome?
I love my Pockitude.
Why do you love your Pockitude?
I just think it's an awesome. I just love the product. Love it.
Oh,
Love
thank
it.
you so much.
Yeah. You and
I
Frederic.
love notebooks, and a little inspirations with it makes a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're continually evolving the practice and the program, and I'm excited to share kind of our latest insights, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Ben. Sharon, do you want to maybe kick us off? It looks like.
Hey, I have to just tell everybody just how, speaking of gratitude, that I had this idea about what we wanted to give our donors this year as a little gift and a touch point. And I said to Jillian, I really want to do a gratitude journal. So what did I do? I Googled, I found Pockitudes. I'm like, oh my God, that's the cutest name ever. So I go on the website, I inquire, and who responds but the founder of the company, Frederic. We picked up the phone. We literally talked for like at least an hour. We had like the best connection, the best conversation. And then I said, I have to have you speak to my community. They're just absolutely, just made for it. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I wanted to suck him in 20 million ways. He was super generous and awesome and helpful in so many ways. He helped me get these Pockitudes cute personalized. We've hand stamped each one ourselves. And we're just so grateful to have him. And the reason why I was so connected, because he had such a compelling story. And he's going to be sharing his story tonight, I know. So I don't want to say anything about it, but it's really, really interesting and just relatable. And there's so much to connect on, as well as so much to understand that we can take his story, his product, and incorporate it in our own lives, hopefully. So gave Jillian this before we made this connection.
For the
Because-
holidays. For
Yeah,
Hanukkah.
so there's just so much here. There's so much synergy, and we're grateful, so grateful, Frederic, for you making time and your generosity and coming to speak with us. So, without further ado, let you take it away.
Okay, before we do, thank you, Sharon. Before we do, guys, just
Sorry. With the
we're
excitement.
gonna ask everybody to stay muted if you don't mind when Frederic starts. And then if you have anything you want to put in the chat, I promise I will do my best to get it to Frederic, and then we'll open it up when he's done for Q&A, and then you can feel free to say how you feel and share. Oh, look, there's Gary Haas there. He looks kind of mean down there. He's a cousin. It's okay. I can say that to him. Okay, so Frederic, we're so excited to have you. So everybody, if you would please stay muted and just throw what you want in the chat, and then we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. Welcome, Frederic.
Thank you so much. I actually just came up with a new product while Sharon was talking. I'm going to create a pocket-sized Sharon because she's so good for my self-esteem, for my ego. If I'm feeling down, I can get my little pocket-sized Sharon. I could put her on my desk and just have her do what she does, where she's full of happiness and joy and positivity, such an energy. So thank you. And thank you, Jillian, for this opportunity. I'm really excited. So I'm actually going to start, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to start with a grounding exercise. And this is something that I do to one, kind of change the state. Like right now, you're watching this head on your screens, right? And some of you are fidgeting, or you're laying down, you're in your chair. And I want us to be really present. Forget the mess of the day, the bills, or whatever the issues are. So what we're going to do is, it's less than a minute. What we're going to do is I want you to get comfortable in your chairs or on your bed or wherever you are, in your car, wherever everybody is. If you can, ground your feet, put them against the floor, relax your shoulders, put your hands on your lap or wherever. But basically, I want your bodies completely relaxed, right? Now, you can close your eyes or you can leave them open. All we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 through our nose, and we're going to breathe out for 6 seconds through our mouth. And we're going to do that 4 times. So let's start out by at least one just giant breath. And sometimes an audible like that is just so releasing, right? Whatever stress, whatever the monkey mind's got going on, or the gremlin in our minds. What we're going to do now is we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. I'm going to count, and we're going to breathe out for 6. And we're going to do that 4 times. I'm going to lower my voice so it's not so invasive. So here we go. We're going to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think for some of you, most of you, there was a change in your state. Maybe you're a little more relaxed. Maybe you're a little more present. And this is one of the tools that I've used, that I discovered a little too late, some might say. I said just in time, right? In dealing with my anxiety and dealing with the issues that I'm going to share with you in my story. So I also want to be really clear that what I'm going to share with you is my story. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a branding guy. I was a brand consultant, an agency owner. I worked with brands all over the world. I have nothing to do with psychology or therapy. So this is from my own personal research and my own trial. I do encourage you, for some of you, talk therapy has been a big part of my recovery, I like to call it, from my mental challenges and into a better life of joy and happiness and better, more balanced well-being, mental health, and so forth. So therapy, yay. So I'll give you a quick agenda to manage expectations. I have no idea how long this is. I can be long-winded, but I want to be mindful of time. So I'm going to try to keep it to around 30 minutes or 25 minutes or so. I'm going to share my background with you. I'm going to share why, the reasons, the genesis for Pockitudes that I launched in 2017. I'm going to talk to you about the practice and all the tools that help me find joy and greater peace of mind. One of them was that little grounding exercise that we did. And then number 4 in my talk will be how today I'm discovering the gratitude matrix. My wife, Misa, my best friend, my soulmate, a huge part of our joint recovery, is the one who wrote a simple blog entry on our blog in 2017 called the Gratitude Matrix. And it finally clicked 3-4 years later. And I'm excited to share that with you. And it's a result of the practice that has been, well, life-changing. So I was actually born in France. My parents moved to America when I was 7. And so my dad actually flipped a coin. My mom was 18 when she had me. My dad was 20, young parents. And my dad had kind of like a little crisis in his late 20s. And he had a coin. Heads were going to Australia. Tails were going to America. Obviously, it landed on tails. We get to the airport in Miami. We step out of the airport and I see a huge billboard with a dolphin jumping out of the water with a helmet on it. And I see this dolphin everywhere. And I'm like, okay. So I then realized it's a football team. I learned about football. And little did I know that my favorite football team in the NFL hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1974. But, you know, I was a very impressionable young man at 7. And for me, the Miami Dolphins are the greatest team ever. We then went to a Burger King. None of us spoke English, but apparently I was the one who went up there and we ordered 3 Whoppers and 3 large fries. So we sit down and we're like, oh, we forgot a knife and fork. So I get back up and I ask for a knife and a fork. We sit down, we got our knife and fork. I look around, I'm like, I think we're supposed to use our hands. So this is kind of introduction to the American culture. And then I'll end with this funny story. The last thing you want to be is different when you're in school. My school lunches were really unique. Most of my colleagues had a brown bag and they would pull out a, ham and cheese, maybe a peanut butter and jelly, a bag of pretzels and some fruit roll-ups. My mother is an exceptional cook and she would cook traditional meals. So I would have a little cooler with ice, a knife and a fork, a cloth napkin, and little containers of leftover pate with baguette or boeuf bourguignon or canard à l'orange. No joke, my mother could make those and they tasted amazing. But grateful for those meals. But as a kid, 5th grade, 6th grade, most embarrassing thing ever. So I would literally eat in the meal and I try to, it was crazy. Eventually I had to convince my mother that I wanted an American school lunch. So all that is funny, but the home was challenging. It was a really, really challenging home. I had an atheist father, a religious mother. So right there created a lot of tension. Young parents, didn't speak English, a sister who passed away. So at a young age, there was a lot of trauma in the house. I was a very sensitive, creative kid. And, a lot of our foundation and how we develop as adults is rooted in our childhood. And for me, that trauma, I kind of took with me. So we'll skip all the way to me leaving home and going to college. And I have my backpack. And in my backpack, I have a little bit of joy. I've got humor, got creativity, high energy, the extrovert. I also pack in my backpack shame, fear, insecurity, anxiety, depression, a very critical negative inner voice that some could call the monkey mind or the gremlin, and really, really low self-esteem. So on the outside, people saw a funny guy, successful, life of the party. Obviously, with the backpack full of anxiety and fear and insecurity, I want to be the life of the party. So me, the clown, the class clown. Internally, it was a really dark world. I had that incessant voice that was constantly telling me what I wasn't good at, how I failed, never celebrating the successes. So I numbed the voice any way I could, with TV, with food, by going out, and I'll spare you all the ugly details. So I graduate college, kind of unconscious, blinders on. I've got my backpack. It's probably even a little heavier. And I start a career. I land a job at the Walt Disney Company to quickly realize that I don't really like working in a corporate structure. And I kept going up as a manager and not really following the creative career that I wanted. So I formed my own agency. I meet my greatest mentor and future business partner. And we go through life having success, right? I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing for the most part. But a lot of it is really just showing up. I'm really more working for money than I am really working for joy, because I was so disconnected from my own identity and who I was and what I wanted. Which, by the way, this isn't like a super original story. A lot of people can relate to this. So my partner, who's 25 years older than me, says, hey, why don't you buy me out over a number of years and then you'll own the agency. So that's what we did, because that's what I thought we should do. So I basically ended up owning an agency I didn't really want, working on projects I didn't really want, with clients I didn't really want. And all that is because I was playing the part of somebody else's movie. When you're so disconnected, when that backpack is so heavy, when I'm basically overflowing with anxiety and panic attacks and bouts of depression, you can only go on so long, right? Because I wasn't doing any other work. Again, I didn't really have a spiritual background. So in late 2015, it was obvious that the agency wasn't going to work out, and sabotaging. I wasn't really going after new clients and new work. So we went from a very thriving big agency to just slowly kind of going downhill, and it was inevitable. And so in late 2015, I'm on a flight to Florida. I was in Colorado, and my company, my team was also based in Florida. And I'm on this flight, and there's a lot of turbulence. And at one point, I'm going basically from a winter storm in Denver to thunderstorms in Orlando, Florida. So that flight the entire time was just up and down, up and down. And at one point, we really went down a lot. And my immediate thought was, oh, great, plane will crash. My family will get my life insurance. They'll be set for life. I don't have to talk to the team. I don't have to worry about clients. I was never suicidal, but I always had dark, challenging thoughts because the backpack was so heavy with all of what I described: the anxiety, the doubts, the self-shame, imposter syndrome, you name it. So I was very fortunate enough in 2016 to be able to take a timeout. After a few months of the poor me's, we'll be homeless, I'm a loser, I mean, you name it. The self-shame, the negative talk was at the highest it had ever been. It was at the peak. So my entire life of this negative thinking, and I was a soccer player in high school, and I'd score a goal and the gremlin would say, well, you didn't really score that goal. You kind of made a mistake and you hit it with your knee. You didn't really mean to score it, right? Always celebrating the failures, but never really celebrating the successes. So I think I've painted a pretty dark picture of my background, but it does obviously have a very happy ending. So I don't want you to be all depressed. I wanted to kind of set the scene for you. So during that time, I was incredibly lucky. You can call it synchronicity, divine intervention, but I was gifted a week with Tony Robbins. And he's not my guru. I will say this, it was a very unique experience, a weekend with Tony Robbins in Dallas. And, a lot of it was a little too much for me, but there was a lot that was really, really valuable and almost kind of a slap in the face. If you don't know Tony Robbins, he's a larger than life character and he is not shy at all. And so you get it, you hear the message. And I think that was kind of the spark that lit the match. So then I wanted to learn more. I was tired of living with this backpack, right? That was getting heavier and heavier. So I discovered the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, Brene Brown, Tara Brach, Ram Dass, Oprah, Joe Dispenza, Rick Carson, Deepak Chopra, Seneca. I mean, you name it. I kind of spent a year learning how to live a much better life than I was living because it was not sustainable. Regardless of what people saw, I didn't want to continue like this. So I discovered during that time that I could actually take that backpack off and I can kind of go through it and take some things out, put some new things in there. I discovered that I didn't have to be the victim. I also recognized that not everybody has that luxury, but I know that I discovered that I had a choice. So I discovered all these tools, meditation, the ability to shut off the monkey mind and the gremlin was unbelievable. Breathing, like exercises that we started with. A deeper reconnection to nature, what the Japanese call forest bathing, was instrumental. Mindfulness, to truly be present, to be present with self, love of others, but most importantly, love of myself. Having this new state of mind where I can actually recognize that I can actually love myself, celebrate me, which was a new concept for me. And gratitude, obviously the biggest one. Gratitude, not only recognizing the joys and not focusing on the past and what could have been, but the acts of kindness. A lot of times people say, oh, Frederic has these gratitude journals. I really get uncomfortable sometimes because acts of kindness was instrumental in my road to mental well-being and to better mental health. To go from a state of mind of me to we and the collective was huge. And I'll go more into that in a minute. Positive intentions, setting positive intentions, writing by hand, right? Unplugging. The act of writing by hand is a mindful act. It slows you down. It also creates, there's research that shows that it creates a deeper imprint in your mind. So when they talk to students about taking notes by hand, it actually is a better way to retain what you're being taught. So the first thing that I did, I bought a gratitude journal, a very well-known one that claimed to be a 5 minutes a day kind of thing. It was really big and bulky, and it was way too structured for me. It actually didn't take me 5 minutes. It took me more like 30 minutes, and it was frustrating. So I started creating my own practice, my own journal, hence Pockitudes. Being a branding guy, of course, I had to bring in a flair design. I had to come up with a made up name, a pocket gratitude journal, Pockitudes. And so what I learned from my research was to, one, write down what I'm grateful for. And I created categories so it wasn't always the same thing. My dog, my kids, my family, my house, my job, things and other categories. The why prompt was so that I would create a deeper connection to truly reflect, well, why am I grateful for this bird on this tree right outside my window? Acts of kindness, more specifically in the journal, it's today's act of kindness. Shifting from that me to we is a huge revelation for me. Because as an only child, with all that fear and all that shame, it was really more of a very selfish world, right? It's all about me, me, me. And taking myself out and helping others and being present to others. I was never really present. If someone spoke to me, I wasn't really listening. I was probably judging. Reflections and positive intentions is the fourth one. Just setting positive intentions. So in the journal, I'm going to go through these really quickly, but I want to go through them because they're important in sharing that it's not just the practice of the gratitude and the acts of kindness, but it was really everything, right? So the 18 tips in the back of the journal, what gives you happiness, so writing it down, that was obvious one. Rest, allow myself to rest and good night's sleep, right? Tune into my senses and truly being present, the sounds, the smells, really mindfully eating, doing something good for others, of course, going outside and being present with nature. And I recognize that some of our customers and people I talk to are in New York City. Well, there's this little park called Central Park. You can go there, or you can even look at a houseplant you have. The deep breathing, right? In our journal, we've got in for 3, out for 6. Pausing and slowing down, meditation was massive. Moving my body, just walking. And even to this day, if I know I'm feeling anxious or I'm having those feelings, I will just go outside and I will walk. And if I have to walk for 3 hours, I'll walk for 3 hours until I'm in a better state, until I feel better. Alone time. Now, as an only child, alone time is very easy for me. I'm very comfortable being alone. As much as I'm an extrovert, I cherish my alone time. Unplugging just for a few minutes. As part of my numbing, wasn't just TV, but then it became the phone. It's so easy to get lost in the phone. I love Instagram. I love it all. I love social, but I'm also mindful that it's really about balance, right? Play, smiling. I'm an older person, but we still have that child in us. That child never goes away, and reconnecting to that child and reconnecting to the act of play and smiling and laughter and community. Saying no to the monkey mind. I know that once in a while, the monkey, the gremlin, they'll want to say something. They'll want me to judge someone. They'll want to say something like, well, you can't do that. And now I can say, no, sorry, I'm not doing that. Forgiving myself for the mistakes. I was not the best boss. I was not the best manager. And it's okay to forgive myself for the mistakes I've made. I am human after all. And the last one is remembering that this too shall pass. I will have challenging days. I will have bad days, but recognizing that this too shall pass, that I can reset was huge. So with Pockitudes, I went from practice to habit, and from habit to seeing the gratitude matrix. I want to repeat that. The journal is a practice, but eventually you don't need it as much. It can shift, and it can be a journal to record the gratitudes, not so much as part of the practice, but to be more of recording that you can reflect back to, that you can open up a few years later, you go back through your journals and read and kind of reflect back on those times. But then you transcend the journal. And when it becomes habit, you start seeing gratitude everywhere. And actually gratitude finds you. And I want to read something to you that my wife, Misa, wrote. She's an amazing writer. And I could talk about my wife, my partner, my soulmate, my best friend for hours, but I won't. But I will read to you what she wrote that connected with me 3 years later. So this shows you the wisdom of my wife over mine. She wrote, the gratitude matrix is constructed by the infinite web of relationships, connections, and energy between humans, animals, insects, trees, and plants, and the elements and energies that keep this web flowing: earth, air, water, and fire. It means recognizing and seeing on a regular basis that without these relationships and connections, we unequivocally have nothing. When we understand fully that there is no separation between us and all the natural wonders around us, that everything is our relative, our family, we consciously awaken to the world around us and within. We see everything as a gift, a beautiful, energetic flow that slows down for us because we are paying attention. That's the matrix. So as I continued my practice and it became a habit of just being present and mindful, and I suddenly saw the matrix. Now, if you saw the movie, of course, that's a different kind of matrix. I'm thinking right now, I'm looking around at a painting. I'm so present to be sharing this message with you of vulnerability, of authenticity. The matrix helped me let go of control, trust in the universe, in the collective, in all of us, that we're all connected, that I can live my most authentic life, be authentic to others, to love myself, and to judge less. Suddenly my backpack became a little lighter. And now it still has a little anxiety, of course. It still has a little bit of sadness, but it doesn't have the bouts of depression. It doesn't have the panic attacks that I once had. It has more joy, more happiness, obviously gratitude, altruism, and energetically, these are way lighter. And in the matrix, I can even take it off, right? So when I'm truly present, or I'm meditating, there's no backpack. And so I'll wrap up with this, that today I'm living my best life yet. One that I never really imagined, one that's allowing me to follow my greatest joy. Today, Pockitudes is in CVS pharmacy nationwide. It's in Whole Foods. It's in Amazon. It's in retailers around the country. We do custom journals for big corporations and hospitals. And I never launched Pockitudes to create a little gratitude empire. I really did it to help others. That was my act of kindness. Here's a practice that I did that works for me. And so I want to share this with the world. And then it became this business. And I'm also doing my consulting. I don't have offices and employees. I'm working in my own terms with clients that I want. And it's working a lot better for me. And in that, it's also helping my clients a lot better. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity. I welcome feedback. I welcome questions. I will be fully present, and I will listen to any of you that have anything you want to share with me. I hope I didn't go too fast. I just want to be mindful of time.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Frederic. So I have one question. You talked about it, and the second to the bottom of your self-care checklist is forgive yourself for your mistakes. So how do you do that? Do you talk to yourself?
Well, it's the way I do a lot of it, right? It's through meditation. It's through recognizing that there are times, especially when I'm in bed, right, at night or in the morning, where suddenly an unwanted memory of a mistake I made, firing an employee, and doing it not in the best of ways, right? Not being truly authentic, not truly sharing what I was doing, my rationale, not being truly present or mindful with that person. And I simply recognize the fact that I was a different version of me, right? And if we continue the backpack metaphor, I was burdened with this backpack, and I had the imposter syndrome. I had shame, and really guided by ego, guided by the wrong motivations. And so because I'm a different person today, and I can recognize that that was a different version of me, sometimes I like to say there's three me's. There's Freddie, Fred, Frederic. So Freddie was that kid who came to America. And the reason I chose Freddie is because in Florida at that time, I was really motivated by branding and advertising. There was this alligator, and he had Freddie all over his chest, Freddie the alligator. And he was by bridges. And apparently it was a way for awareness, like, hey, don't go in this river, don't go in this lake. Freddie the alligator lives there. So Freddie is the least healthy mentally, the lowest of the mental health, the heaviest backpack. After high school, Freddie became Fred. And now you're talking to Frederic. And so the way I like to say is I forgive Fred and Freddie, because Fred and Freddie weren't as awake, they weren't as enlightened, and they didn't do the kind of work that Frederic is fortunate enough to do and isn't in the matrix, if you will. So, I can't say it's always easy. There is a lot of shame in how I treated some people. But again, I can recognize that I have the choice to forgive the decisions that Freddie or Fred made.
Nice.
We all have that ability to forgive. And even better, when you can go to those people and ask them for forgiveness, or make amends. I think that's even more powerful if they're going to take your call.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Yelena says, thank you for your amazing story. And Brendan, your story inspired me. Do you guys have questions for Frederic? Cher, do people in your room have questions?
Anyone here have a question or a comment? It doesn't have to be a question.
Sure.
That's really a good story for what you said about just like what you did.
Yes. I have something I would like to say. I think that was a very good story you told. And the part I loved is when you talked about the Miami Dolphins. Because now I've been a sports person much of my life. And, I love football and everything. And the thing is simply, I thought that part just grabbed my attention almost immediately when you mentioned the part that the Dolphin had a helmet on it, And, I'm not gonna hold up time, but I'm just gonna say that I think that was the best part you gave us of your lecture. So I'm gonna say thank you very much.
Thank you. Go Dolphins. I think they're going to win this year.
Go Ravens!
Go Ravens!
Oh my goodness. It got ugly quick.
Go, Danielle.
Vicky, do you want to share?
I think what Frederic said on Zoom was probably the most inspiring story that I've ever heard him say. Because what he said about his life and what he went through was pretty interesting. But I never heard anybody talk about this story.
Cher, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, sorry. Just a quick recap is she's never heard anybody tell a story like that. It was incredibly inspiring. So thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else?
I will add that when I share my story, it's also part of the healing. It's also part of the forgiving. It's also part of to be vulnerable and to share some of those darker moments in my life is very therapeutic for me. And what I found sometimes too is it allows others to share and to make it okay to share those stories with each other, because we can't forget that we are all connected. And my story is your story is my story. So thank you for sharing that.
Dana shared. Dana, can I read what you said, or do you want to read it?
Oh, I can read it, sure. I said that this story was heartwarming. I can relate to being an immigrant who had to adapt to the new environment. And so I want to thank you for taking this time to share with us. And I'll definitely make great use of Pockitudes. It will definitely help me relax. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And Frederic, she has to relax because I'm her boss. And
Oh.
right, Dana? Dana, for those of you who may or may not know, Dana works at our Soulful Cafe, and she's amazing. Yay.
Thank you. You're an amazing boss. I don't need to.
Thank you. Thank you. She worked very hard too. Where are you from, Dana? Tell everybody.
I'm from Sierra Leone, which is in the western part of Africa. So I came around 2014, and it was just so different to try and adapt to everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we're really glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad too. I love working at Soulful, and I really like the community. Everyone's so friendly, and I'm just so grateful for being a part of all of this.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thank you. I know you're going to use your Pockitude. Who else is going to use their Pockitudes, you guys?
I think Isabel had her hand raised, Jillian.
Oh, Isabel, come on.
Missed that?
I know everyone's close. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was so fabulous and inspiring. And I'm so happy I came onto this. I kind of just hopped on at the last minute. But I have a question. Well, I'll start with this. So the other day I was feeling sad, and I did a meditation and I went on a walk, and I just didn't feel better. And I, reached a point where I thought, I just need to accept how I feel right now. I need to honor the sadness. And you talked strategies.
Nope, you're good. You're back.
You talk about so many, great strategies, the mindfulness and the being connected to nature and all that. So how do you balance practicing your gratitude and mindfulness to feel good and to feel better while also taking time to honor the negative feelings that we all inevitably have?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I can only speak from my own experience. One, it's recognizing that we're going to have sad days. And I don't care if I am the gratitude matrix, I'm still going to have sad days. And I literally name it. I do exactly what you did. I name it, I recognize it, and I will add one more thing to you for you to try out next time. So I definitely try the meditation. And sometimes if I'm really stressed out, it's not working. I can't quite get into it. I definitely go for a walk outside for sure. But then the biggest one is the act of kindness. Because when we're in that state, we're selfish. And it's, I'm not trying to shame you at all, but for me, when I can't get out, I'm sad, and I maybe let the gremlin in and say something negative about myself, I immediately say, okay, I got to do something for someone. And so I stop and I go, who can I do something good for? Now it could be as simple as a recommendation on LinkedIn, an email saying, hey, remember when we worked years ago? I really want to say how amazing you were. It could be helping out a neighbor. It really doesn't matter. But it's basically shifting from me, that victim, to we. And it is so powerful. What was your name again?
I'm Isabel.
Isabel, it's such a shift for me, which is why I always talk about the Pockitudes as a mindfulness journal, because gratitude's great. I love it. But acts of kindness from me to we is a huge, huge part of my recovery. It's almost like an addiction. My new addiction is helping other people. I'll give you a great example. I wasn't feeling very well. Same thing as you. I was a little sad. I woke up that way. Now, maybe it was food I ate. Maybe it was just I didn't sleep well. And a buddy of mine who's got a project that he's building here in Asheville, he asked me, because he knows I'm in branding and I worked on architecture and so forth. He asked me, hey, do you mind helping me? Long story short, I did what I do. I can go into files and I did all these renderings. I basically did thousands of dollars of free work to help my friend with his building. Suddenly, I'm focused on him, on their company, and I'm doing all this work, which, let's face it, I enjoy doing. For hours, I did this. And when I was done, I sent them the file. It was unbelievable, the reaction. They were so happy. I got showered with gifts, which was not my motivation. My motivation, and by the way, it's a spa. They have a series of spas. I basically get to go to spa now for free. Not again my agenda, but the gratitude and love that I got from them and the gratitude and love that I gave them, that energy shifted my thinking completely changed my state from me to we and from sad to feeling really good. So I would try that next time. Obviously, you don't have to be as dramatic as I am, but go through your contacts and who can you help? And maybe it's just a neighbor.
That's awesome. Hey, Isabel, do you mind sharing what you shared with us, the staff, about what you did one day when you weren't feeling great and what that did for you?
Yeah, I was thinking about that as you were talking. So I was feeling sad and I did my meditation and I did my walk and I still wasn't feeling good. And I walked by this plastic bag. I live in a very woodsy area. And at first I walked by it and then I was like, what if an animal gets stuck in it? So I went back and I got it. And the next thing I know, I'm walking around my neighborhood, picking up all this trash, just cleaning everyone's yard. And like, I come back with this huge bag of stuff. And I felt so much better because I wasn't thinking about myself. I was thinking about making my neighborhood more beautiful, helping the animals, exactly like you said, I went from me to like we, the neighborhood, the environment. So yeah, that was great. And thank you so much for your response. I love this so much.
Yeah, I'm actually, when you said that, we had a winter storm and we moved from Asheville to Boulder, Colorado, where I became an expert at shoveling snow. And I missed the kind of snow we had in Colorado. So we had a snowstorm here in Asheville. I was all excited. And I was done shoveling our driveway. So I walked down the road and we have older people that live in our neighborhood. And I shoveled all their driveways. One, because I like doing it. And I thought, ooh, check, act of kindness for today. Again, I got cookies the next day. I got a Facebook post from one of the neighbors. Oh, Frederic is so, again, I don't do it for the accolades and the recognition and the gifts and anything. I do it because it feels good. I think like Eckhart Tolle talks about ego, it's the good kind of ego, right? Where there's nothing wrong with helping someone as long as your intention isn't for the praise. It's really to truly, authentically connect with love of yourself and love of others. So I commend you for that. And I think that's what you do next time. You go pick up more trash or bake cookies.
Actually, I think Isabel is organizing now something for Main Street to go do that too together. So that's what that did too. I mean, isn't that amazing? She took it even a step further. So yay, kudos to you, Isabel.
Now we just have to get rid of all those plastic bags.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Who else, you guys? Who else has something, a comment or a question for Frederic or others?
Armory said he said his piece, but
that's good enough for me. I said what I wanted, so.
Yeah, I want to say something.
Oh, come, please.
Brendan, do you want to say something, Brendan?
Okay, Brendan, 1 second. We just Ulrich's gonna come over to the come over closer to the screen, then they'll hear you better.
I like how you put down his backpack.
Yeah.
So for Lent this year, I did an act of kindness for the 40 days, and it helped me in helping out other people. And so the thing was, I told them if I give you an act of kindness, can you please spread that to another person?
Oh
And
my
I've
gosh.
like got responses back, and they're like, oh yeah, I helped somebody else because you helped me.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's fantastic.
Hear that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, there's so much power and so much healing in acts of kindness and doing something good for others without expecting anything in return. It sounds so basic, but as part of my journey, it was such a selfish existence that concept was never, I was a big brother, and I did that because I truly enjoyed being a big brother. But when I look back at the real reason why I did it, if I'm perfectly honest, is that it looked good on the resume. So there's shame there in admitting that, right? But I can also forgive because that was Fred. But there's so much healing in doing something for someone else, and it can be very small. So the other day I held the door for someone. It was an older lady at the post office, and she was probably, let's say, 25 yards away. I held that door for a really awkwardly long time, but I was like, well, I committed. And she's like, oh, don't worry, young man. First of all, I love she called me young man. She goes, you go ahead. I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm staying for the whole journey. And it felt great. It's just a little act, right? It doesn't take that much.
If we have two hands raised, Marty and Brendan. Brendan, do you want to go first?
Yes, I would like to. I like when you mentioned to get stuff out of your negativity from your brain. You do activities you enjoy. Like you mentioned, walking helps you. One thing that can also helps, which helps me, is yoga.
Yes, absolutely.
And also, right, instead of holding the in your brain, you can either share it or write it down.
Outstanding. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
That's what I do. Especially yoga, it takes all the negativity out of your system.
I love yoga, absolutely, and stretching for sure. That's fantastic.
Marty, do you want to share? Thank you, Brendan.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
So happy to see you.
Happy to see you.
Because I love being respectful to others, which is a nice, caring thing to do.
Yes.
Very important to others. So I love doing that. So I like doing it. Yoga. I love meditation. And I love doing it's a downwind I love the most. And then something I love about Main Street is it inspires everybody. Inspires everybody because I love doing is Main Street hang out. I love to do. I love cooking. I like to do. I like reading. It's something I love about Main Street is very important for the activities. So what I love the most doing is having friends, going to parties. I love going to have fun. I love to have fun with friends party. I love Main Street. It is a great opportunity. So my name is Marty Clark, and I am a Washington fan.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know,
Oh, Marty.
but I know Cesar has his hand raised, and we do want to be mindful of our time. So do you mind if we move on? Thank you for sharing that.
That was beautiful. I love that you used the word love so many times. And I have a feeling that a lot of people love you.
We do.
And that's a good thing.
That's right. It's healing.
Sisha, did you want to say something? I don't see him, but his hand is raised.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, so one thing is usually just like when you try to express gratitude is, just in case if somebody has like a bad days at work, it's because some people like, they sometimes make the big mistakes and, just like everybody feels bad about like, if they feel bad about the mistake they're doing, or if they're sometimes like, if they're worries about the days ahead, but the thing is that you can talk to like anybody who, wherever they're having a bad days, or either at schools or work about what's going on, is because just like people are here to help at this time, and especially like for the people who wants to take a walk or to help themselves to stay positive, because just like me, I'm just like sometimes like me, I'm having a bit of crazy week is because of the, I have too many works going on, because some people worries about like if they made mistakes at their work, or they, in case they feel bad about that. But that's something like people can usually do to like, just, you can do some like meditations to just pray to help them to make sure they have better days ahead, to know about like, you want to make sure you don't make a mistake again other days, because you want to make sure your boss is impressive, because you don't want this thing to happen again. That's what I'm here to talk about.
Thank you for sharing. And I'm glad that you are talking about taking a walk while you're actually taking a walk.
I was thinking that too. That's great.
I just got back from work.
That's dedication, taking us on the road.
That's right.
Guys, before we close up in the next minute, do you guys want to everybody hold their Pockitude? I'm going to take a picture so that we can send it to Frederic and share our gratitude with him. If you have your Pockitude, will you hold it up, or maybe just give us a smile or something? Oh, I see everybody at Main Street getting together. Look at all those guys. It's so nice to see you guys there without masks on, or some of you anyway. It must feel pretty good. So, all right. Is that Danielle? I see. Hold up your Pockitude. Sisha, will you just say hi? Put your face on there, Sisha. Sisha, we want to see you in the picture. All right, everybody. Cheese. Thank you. Marty, you got a big Pockitude over there, don't you?
Wow.
That's awesome.
I don't recognize that one from our shop, but I'll take a look.
Exactly. You're gonna have a new big one. It's gonna be I don't know, a backpackitude or something.
Maybe that's the one in the gratitude matrix. They're really big there.
Exactly, the really big one. Frederic, thank you so much. I'm gonna let Sharon close it out, but I hope everybody feels so inspired and happy now. I know I do. It's a real mood shifter just being with Frederic, isn't it? Feeling his gratitude and his energy and his wisdom. So thank you. And Sharon, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Well, I think our crowd is getting a little restless here, but we are so grateful. I mean, a little pun there, but not really. But we're so happy that you were with us, and just this opportunity was amazing. And just you shared so much, and there's so much to unpack here. I feel like, oh, look at that. See, that was an actual pun. I didn't even realize that was the backpack. But we're grateful for this. We will stay in touch. We will use our mindfulness journals, our Pockitudes, and we will continue to spread the word, because that's how things happen, right? So thank you for this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you're
guys,
you have to come.
very much.
You're gonna have to visit us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, please. All right, bye.
Bye. Grateful to you all.
Hi.
Bye.
Love you, Bella. That's my dog.
Let your daughter.
Oh, did you notice the name Bella?